welcome to episode number 3 of Actionable Insights. My name is Joseph Maxwell, and I am really excited about what I have to share with you today. You see, we're going to talk about the decision-making process and the big question of, can I help my customers come to decide on the perfect product to order from me? Can I influence this decision, not necessarily just to get a sale, but to help the customer determine what is the perfect fit of product for them? You see, I am both a merchant and a builder of experiences for merchants. You see, but I am a merchant because I believe in leading by example. Can I be a guinea pig for an idea? Can I share my failures on my nickel? But on the other hand, can I show how I've brought more yeses, say through a checkout process? The answer is yes. You see, these findings might be radical, and I'm sharing with them with just a select few. But since you're listening today, I hope you will join me on this lifelong journey of cutting through the fluff to fully grasp and master this discipline of online sales. Before we continue, though, would you take a moment and subscribe to this podcast? You see, we're just starting out. I'm investing a lot of time into this, and be frank, every subscribe helps if, that is, you find this content valuable. If you find it helps you in your careers, it helps you enrich your experience in being able to work with your merchants, or as a merchant, if you are working in increasing online sales, would you subscribe? I'm on most every podcast app like Google, Apple, Spotify, and more. Just go to swiftauto.com/episode 3. swiftauto.com/episode 3. You'll find all the links on that page there so you can get started and subscribe. If you are looking for the show notes, one thing that sets apart this podcast from almost any other one that I've seen is our show notes read more like a tutorial rather than just a summary of what we talk about in this podcast. That also is found at swiftauto.com/episode 3. However you want to spell it, pronounce it, whatever. swiftauto.com/episode 3. All right, let's get into it. The decision-making process. So let's think about the last purchase that you made online, where you really didn't know the product that you wanted to order. How did you come up with that specific product that ended up showing up at your door? How did you make that decision, and where did you end up purchasing it from? It's kind of funny. Right now, I'm in the market to buy another pair of workout or exercise shoes. Buying a pair of shoes, as I was just looking at the other day here, it's kind of a crazy experience. You go to places like Zappos or Shoe Barn or all these other places, and there are thousands of pairs of shoes. Forget about it if you're looking for a pair of dress shoes. I mean, at least workout shoes are maybe slightly narrowed down of a list of products there. Which one is right for me? And unfortunately, this can kind of become overwhelming. And to be my personal experience here is that when I'm faced with so many choices, I'm a busy person, just like I'm sure every one of you listening to this is busy. The temptation is we just push this decision off to a later date, and the sale never happens. Maybe you can relate, understand what I'm talking about here. I've been through this cycle several times. You see, the goal, though, for most shoe buying websites is to help you filter the results. What size do you want? What color do you want? But it's still hard to communicate what I am looking for as this perfect pair. It might be too soft. It might be too hard of the shoe bed. The color might be right or wrong, or I might not like the design of it. All right, so I am not selling shoes, and chances are you're not either. However, my point here is anytime I'm looking for something, I'm kind of trying to understand my own decision-making process. I'm trying to, as much as I can, be this external watcher and see how am I making this decision, what processes is going in, what factors are influencing this, and ultimately what makes me settle on this product that I'm looking for. So the big point that I've been thinking through lately is, what if I can help my customers find what they're looking for and educate them in the process? I will say that this idea might not work in every industry. I mean, especially like we just talked about, the shoe industry might be a little more difficult. But I think at least elements of this can be applied to every industry, including the shoe industry. Not only do I believe this will increase revenue because it'll keep people on the website longer, but you will have this heart connection, even to a small degree, that you've helped them make this decision that hopefully they are happy with that they made. You have to also understand that this is at least worth something because they're on your website right now. This could be actually the only opportunity you have to affect your buyers or influence their mind, their decision-making process. You might say, Joseph, what do you have to say about this? I want to share with you my story. You see, my online store, what I sell online, improves people's quality of life. They have more time with their family, more influence in their company, and they can also give good advice when asked, say, from merchants who they are helping through solving whatever problem that they face. How do I do that? I sell books that help people become Magento certified. Magento is an e-commerce platform. I've done a lot of work with it over the years, and I've built these materials, these study guides to help people in their efforts to become certified. I've written a course as well. I've built banks of practice tests so that people will have a good idea as far as how well they're going to do when they actually go sit for the real exam. So the next question you might say, well, Joseph, you sell information on how to get certified, but how does that actually improve people's quality of life? That's a really good point. When somebody makes this investment, when I am able to help them achieve this investment or achieve this recognition, this certification, I have seen all of the above happen to them. For most companies, at least good companies, there's pay raises involved. There's certainly influence in the company. All of that happens as a result of making this investment. So as people become certified, a question I've given a lot of thought to is how can I help somebody achieve success and not failure? That's the last thing anybody wants, me included, is to go sit for an exam and fail. So the caveat as well is the material I write is only as good as the investment that the buyer makes in actually learning this stuff. Ultimately, if they don't take the time to learn it, if they don't take the time to invest in it, well, it's probably not going to do them any good, just like most products. So I've been thinking, okay, maybe education is the route. Maybe education will help these people become successful. And you look at our Swiftwater channel on LinkedIn or on YouTube, also on LinkedIn as well. And I've been publishing a lot of videos along these lines. Answering the questions, how do I prepare for a specific test? What do I expect on a test? What kind of questions am I going to face? Are there any ethical, reasonable tricks to help me get through this test successfully? But I want to take a second and stop there. Education is good, but I would venture to say that those questions we just asked miss the most important fundamental topic that we should have covered from the very beginning. What test, which certification should I go after? Here's why it's important. I get emails somewhat regularly from people who go take an advanced test and fail. They're distraught. I just spent this large amount of money, it's between $200 and $300 on this test, probably, hopefully, a lot of time preparing for it, and I just failed. What happened? So, as somebody who has also failed a certification before, I do understand the pain. So the simple answer is, and the reasonable answer, frankly, is what test should you have taken from the very beginning? And if I can help somebody arrive at that answer before they spend the money to start preparing, spend the hundreds of hours possibly in preparing for the certification, and then have the sadness of failing, what if I can help them today decide on the right test to take? And that is the challenge I have presented with myself. It's about education. Is there a way I can do this? The solution that I would like to present to you today is, can you build a quiz to help somebody arrive at this answer that they need? This is what I did, and I want to share with you my first version, my first round of results. You might say that in ways that this is very successful. In other ways, maybe it's not been as successful. But this is my story, and I am sharing it with you today, those of you that are listening. So this quiz that I built has 1 to 5 questions. At the end, I tell you which test I suggest you take. The great part of this is that a customer doesn't have to leave the context in which they're browsing the website in. They don't have to pick up the phone, their cell phone, open an email, send me an email. I don't have to answer emails or pay somebody to answer emails. It's done there and immediately. Here's some of the results I found in this test that I ran for several weeks on our website. 4% of those who saw this quiz clicked on it and spent an average of 20 seconds taking the test or the quiz. My test shows, doing a lot of comparison in Google Analytics, and I'll actually give some information in this show notes, swiftauto.com/episode 3. My test shows an actual 5% increase in revenue. That's really pretty decent, actually, for a A/B test. That's not bad. 10% increase in the average order value, and you might smell something right here, but an almost 10% decrease in bounce rate, meaning that people are less likely to leave the website as a result of this test. When somebody clicks through the quiz into the information page at the end of the quiz, where I give a whole bunch of information about this test, how you should prepare, what you should do, that sort of thing, they're 3 to 4 times more likely to buy something. Those are some real wins. Now, our audience is all over the world. United States, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, India, South America, Latin America, all over the world. I found, as I broke this down in Google Analytics, I found that the conversion rate for buyers in the United States and Mexico almost doubled. Get that. The conversion rate almost doubled. It's crazy. Average order value almost tripled. It's pretty easy to see that they like the help. However, get this as well. Most countries in Western Europe actually took a major conversion rate hit. Remember, the conversion rate is how many people come to the website versus how many purchase. So the higher the conversion rate, it means one of two things. It means either your website traffic dropped and your sales stayed the same, which is not necessarily ideal, or you've increased the number of people that are purchasing on this website. Just increasing the traffic and leaving the sales at the same number will reduce the conversion rate as well. So people in Western Europe might not have appreciated this. Why? We're going to talk about this. But overall, the bad news is this. The conversion rate is down by 10%. So we have some areas in the world that like this, some areas that don't. The older the audience, the less the conversion rate. This actually affects the conversion rate, drops it for those that are, I believe, if I remember correctly, it was 35 years of age and older. Isn't this a big problem? Like, shouldn't we just shut the test down and say that was an epic, disastrous failure? Not so quick here. If that's all we're going to do, yeah, that might not be a smashing success. But I'm going to look at this as an interesting statistic and see that I might need to refine my presentation of this. Here's my hypothesis as far as why we have a decreasing conversion rate. Let's say I'm a developer. I've been working at this company for several years. I've been working in Magento 2 for, say, 3 years, roughly since it came out. I've decided to go for the professional developer certification. This is a difficult test. I find Swift Auto via a Google search, and I see this quiz. Maybe I think they're just trying to sell me something, just trying to push something down my throat. Could that be a little bit of a turnoff? Remember, we have 4% of people that see this quiz actually click through to it. Here's the challenge that I face. The opposite is true. Frankly, my friends, my goal is education. But I am wondering if this could actually be coming across as a sales push. So here is my new test that I am running, and I will include some screenshots again on swiftauto.com/episode 3. I'm going to be testing this. I'm going to be taking some of my findings and implementing them as a new version of this test. What I believe I need to do is I need to help the visitor understand that this is not a sales trick. And instead, it's my desire to help them find the right product so they're more successful. Visitors also, I believe, must see that this quiz is very minimal. It's not asking for their email. It's not asking for their name. Just 20 seconds and 5 questions or less. That's something that most everybody can offer, especially if they're going to get a lot of value out of this. Since 4% are utilizing this tool, it does seem to have a pretty polar impact on conversion rates. And I'm going to focus on the button itself and not necessarily the content in this quiz. As such, I do see plenty of good signs that we're on the right track, and we're going to proceed with version number 2 of this test. We're going to talk about that in a future podcast. I'm excited to report to you how that is going to go. The question, though, that you might be thinking of is, how do I implement this? We talked about workout shoes. We talked about study materials like practice tests, study guides, and courses. But let's bring this all together. What products do you have on your website that could be hard for your customer to find, to choose from, to select which product do I want? What I just described, talked about of this quiz that we did here at SwiftOtter, is so easy to set up, and the technology to do it costs $35 a month. Here's how you can do that. The first question we have to work through is, how often do you get questions about the products, which product to purchase? People coming to you saying, hey, I need to know, or I have a question you have for these products, which one is right for me? How often do you do exchanges for another similar product? If you sell 3 products, none of them require guidance, maybe you don't need to implement a quiz like this. Maybe you can focus your efforts on another area of the website that will bring more value to you and your customers. All right, so if your answer is yes, that you do have some products that need some help, that people are asking you these questions about which product to purchase, can you categorize them in a way such that you can provide a path to finding them? For example, if you're Amazon, good luck. That's probably not going to work. But if you sell maybe 100 products or 50 products, and you can focus on different categories of these products, maybe just start a quiz on one of these categories. We did one a while back and pretty successful for somebody that sold sandpaper. Focused on just one category of sandpaper, helping people find and answer these questions. What type of sandpaper am I looking for? Another note is, if you're using Magento, and I believe the other software as a service platforms have similar functionality, there is a product type called a configurable product. And this is also a great way to implement this type of questions. Maybe you choose a particular color and a grade for this product. Maybe you're choosing a size for these shoes as opposed to listing every single size out in a list of products. So this is not as much a tool for education, maybe as much as just selecting a product. So to create an actual quiz, I use Typeform. I'm not paid to solicit this at all, but I have found this is a really great and quick way to help customers arrive at the product that they're looking for. Typeform does pretty much everything I need it to. And I think it's $35 a month times 12. You have to pay yearly. They just recently changed their pricing around. I'm still on the old plan, which is kind of nice because it does cost $35 a month and I don't have to pay yearly for it. That said, with the success that I've been having with some of these quizzes I've been running, it's probably going to be it'd be easy to justify paying it per year. The nice thing is you can do these quizzes yourself. You don't have to pay a developer to do it. I understand developers are expensive nowadays. You don't have to pay a developer at all. All right, so I go into Typeform. I create a quiz. I ask these questions. So obviously, I can't tell you what questions you need to ask, but you know your products. You know the questions that your customers often ask, and you know the answers that your customer service representatives are typically giving in those cases. You can use then logic to formulate the answers. So here's the questions that were given, and then let's come up with the logic to determine the answers. Frankly, I would say that the logic is a little bit rough in Typeform. It took me, I'm guessing, an hour or two. I took a first initial approach, and then I had to back out on that, take another approach. But again, for $35 a month, it's extremely inexpensive compared to how much it would cost for a developer to make this same type of a quiz. Play around with it, experiment with it. Typeform does have a trial. You can, again, see how this works until you figure out something that works for you and your audience. I also need to stress here, remember to test this. Notice what I shared. I'm being really open here. The conversion rate took a hit as I launched this test. I would never have known that. I might have attributed it to the economy, or maybe I just had an influx of traffic on the website. I never would have known exactly what and why this happened if I didn't use Google Optimize or whatever to test this, to understand why this works, why it doesn't, as opposed to, well, it works or it doesn't work, and then we're off to try to figure out what happened. Testing it allows us to see how this works. And in fact, if you go to the show notes again on swiftauto.com/episode 3, I will give you some information there as to how you can really drill down in using these tests, the A/B tests, to figure out what I was telling you about geography, demographics, referrals, what different mediums track better with this conversion rate, which ones track worse. As you can see, my test was honestly, I consider it reasonably successful, but I see massive potential. Instead of a 10% decrease in conversion rate, could we get a 10% increase in conversion rate, that combined with at least a 5% increase in revenue? That means sales could be up at least 25%. And not just trying to sell a product. No, thinking of the user's best in mind and saying, can I help them arrive at a product that they will be more successful at? Can I help them achieve this product or achieve purchasing this product that they're going to be more happy with? And if they're more happy with it, maybe they're going to come back and buy another product from you. We've made some observations here. We're building version 2 of this test. In fact, it's actually in testing right now, and the results are looking significantly better. I'm excited to report this back to you next time or in a couple of podcasts in the future. So again, I hope you subscribe to this podcast. Go to swiftauto.com. You see the Actionable Insights icon in the menu. Click subscribe. Enter your email address in to be able to be part of our newsletter. We will notify you of these new episodes that are releasing. So in summary, how are you helping your customers find what they need? Are you receiving feedback, maybe directly or indirectly, that they're having problems with a particular product or set of products? Maybe they're consistently ordering the wrong product. If you sell products that can be categorized in filters, I have given you the simple, easy steps as to how you can help your customer be more successful through education. I'm also going to put this offer out here. Please feel free to email me at joseph@swiftauto.com, joseph@swiftauto.com. If you found this helpful, if you have questions, how do you implement these type of tests using Typeform? Again, so simple and easy. Feel free to email me. I'd be happy to answer your questions. Not a sales trick at all on my part. I'm happy to help you answer your questions because I want to see you successful. And as I learn from your experiences, I gain value from that process. So I want to thank you for listening to our episode number 3. Please help me. That is the title of this podcast because I want to be able to help customers in this process of figuring out what to order. How do I help them achieve success? Please don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, and I want to thank you so much for listening. Feel free to write a 5-star review on this if that is applicable for you. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic time, fantastic week. Until next time.
Oh, you're still here. Well, maybe that's awesome actually, because that means you like this video, or maybe you just clicked to the end of it to see what was actually here. But either way, would you mind clicking the like button here? That helps me to know what information you like, whether you felt this information actually will help you grow your store. That's my passion, my goal, at least with what I'm doing here. While you're at it, click that subscribe button just right over here. You don't want to miss out any of this great information that we're pulling together to help your business succeed and grow online. So take care for the second time.